Welcome to Project Pack 12, Day 5. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and this Renaissance stuff is really fun. This tile I'm going to start in a more traditional way, with the dots and the border and the string, sort of a string. So here's our beautiful corner dots, taking your time, appreciating this unbelievably beautiful paper. The pencil that we get to use, as simple as it is, it's such a beautiful tool. And if your border is a little wonky, that's okay. We're going to jump in now with the brown Micron 01. And we're going to make sort of a pegboard effect with 4 dots in each row. So you're going to approximate where those would go. And if they're a little off, it almost adds to the beauty of your tile. So don't worry about that. I'm going to do it on all 4 sides. And then I'll do the ones in the middle.
So I like this. It's almost, you think it's a reticula, but it ends up not being. It's like an overlapping reticula.
It's an overlapping reticula. So we're going to jump into the diagonal, and we're going to work there to start with. This is a form of fife, F-I-F-E, and it's one of Molly's beautiful tangles. A simple, elegant tangle. And this is brown.
And I think it was like the width of those rice shapes was just a little bit smaller than the end of the pen there. Because we'll often use the pen as to give an idea of what the dimensions are.
Mm-hmm. So you can see where the pegboard it works a little differently on this particular one. So we're going to jump back and forth. Take your time to find those pegs and see what we're doing here.
So it's like if those pegs were squares, you're doing the diagonals here.
Right, right.
And rotating your tile each time, so she's got that same set of muscles doing the same strokes each time.
So Rick's right. These are the diagonals of what would be the squares. My next step would be to aura the insides of these rice shapes. So it's important to have enough room to put things inside of things there. You can see it's sort of a really cool look right away.
So when you tangle larger, you have more options of adding things inside.
Right. Turn your tile. See, you can tell that I haven't actually changed my position of my pen and my stroke throughout this whole thing, just so that you have more control over the line. It's very difficult to draw a horizontal line, but a vertical line is much easier for your hand. For me, anyway, for me.
So explore what is comfortable for you, and that's sort of the idea, is that once you find that comfortable spot, just work with that for a while and see what happens.
So now we're going to go in and put the rice shapes behind the first ones, and they're actually going to go right through them, which is kind of fun, in a hollabah manner.
It's very cool.
Take your time. Go right through them like they're behind.
Those actually could be like little halos just
Yes,
on the
I was
side.
thinking that too. I was thinking that.
I like that image. So now all of them are connected. All those dots have a home.
It's sort of a spaceship look at this point.
Yeah, right?
I don't know, Martian
directions.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the tile, and we're going to put them in the other direction.
Again, the whole patterning comes from finding one sequence and then repeating that sequence, and this whole aura-ing and drawing behind.
So this is a really great start for many different tiles. And if you can take into consideration and practice this over and over and over and do it differently each time. So once you get to this point, there's all kinds of things to do. We're going to go in one direction, but feel free in the future to take this beginning and do wonderful things with it.
And we'll see that in bales a lot. It's that, beginning structure, which this is like a cousin of bales. And within those spaces, there's all many different ways to use that space. And if you go on the app and do a search for Fife or for bales, B-A-L-E-S, you'll see an amazing amount of ideas.
So you can see I turned my tile even just for filling in, because the stroke of the pen is easier to go up and down. I mean, think about it. Back and forth is more awkward. You have less control over your pen. It's looking good already, right?
Well, it's that light and dark. It's now really snapping.
So now I'm going to aura the light ones, the ones that don't have the dark in them. So each one of those, we're going to aura, but we're going to tether them at the top and at the bottom. I think we called that a tethered aura.
And I like the contrast not only of light and dark, but in one set there's inner auras, and on this one we've got the tethered outer aura.
Right. So we've done them on both sides of all of these lighter rice shapes.
And you can see that makes the meta pattern of the circles. You can see like these circles are forming.
So now we're going behind the darker rice shape, and we're auraing behind. This is just to add complexity and interest and fun. I mean, Zentangle, this is the fun about Zentangle. You don't want them to be really, really simple. You want them to be really, really complicated.
But the way you get there is really simple. So
Right,
all of
right.
these strokes, and once you decide what's the next sequence, then you just have this fun time of finding them all and then turning the tile and oops, there's another one. It's very cool.
So it's already looking
Oh yeah,
pretty fun.
this is very fun. But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put a bead in the middle of each of these where they come together.
And if you're following along, I think these are with the black
pen.
Micron
Yeah.
01.
So a fun thing that I realized is that when you're looking head on some of these things, they're a circle. But when you look at them from the side, they might look differently. So that's why I added these cone shapes, almost like a black-eyed Susan center.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is your eyes will all of a sudden assume that the ones in the middle, those circles, are the same thing.
Oh, I get it. Just looking at it from a different direction.
Yes.
I get it.
So I do that every once in a while just to shake things up. I love the center of the Susans. They have that cone shape.
Well, and I like how the black one that you're putting in now echoes the ones in the corners of the big brown ones.
Right.
So again, finding one addition and then putting it everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates a pattern. Fun. And no rush. No rush. Looking nice.
Mm.
One of the things about these tiles is that you can layer the two colors of ink is to layer, and here Maria's adding some black on the brown.
So I'm going into the crevices there and adding black. It's hard to see it on this film, but on your tile, you'll notice that it's just a little bit of a detail that really kind of makes things pop. The three-dimensional aspect. And you can tidy up some of your coloring in there by just putting on a black line.
It just sort of increases the contrast too.
Yeah, and you want all those opportunities to put in boldness and excitement and drama. I always love the word drama. It's exciting.
Well, and the drama comes from light and dark, different types of shading that you can add, the tightness and openness of the patterns, even just the empty space that you choose to leave.
So with my brown pen, I'm going in and adding some little, what did we call that, hatching? Hatching?
Well,
Like
for this video, let's call it
yeah, well,
hatching.
cross-hatching, usually it's that
Yeah.
when you're drawing, and it just very, very light strokes, and the end stroke is sort of feathery, so you want to keep that light. And I'm going to aura around with a good-sized space there, around all these beautiful cone shapes and rice shapes. It sort of brings the thing all together in a nice composition. Looks like it should be a tile on a wall, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I like the meta patterns as well.
I can't see it. Is that the brown?
I think it's
I
the
think it's the
brown.
brown.
Yeah.
So Rick and I do our drawings first and then go back in and comment on
And
them.
voice over it, right?
Yeah.
Do a color commentary, so to speak.
Color commentary. Yeah, sometimes we got it. We're all together on that, and other times we're looking closer at the screen and
Right,
saying,
right.
"What is it? Is that the brown or?"
Well, and that's also the fun part of this brown on this paper is that if you do a quick stroke like that feathering hatching there, it has this light reddishness, and if you do it like a very steady slow stroke or color it in, it's got this deep, deep brown color. So it's like more than one color in one pen,
I love that.
right?
This brown is my favorite pen. It's my go-to when I don't know what else to do.
So that coffering is really sweet that you did.
Ooh, yes.
That when we say coffering, it's like that beveling on
Right.
on the aura.
Like we went in with a chisel and added some carving in there.
So now adding some, just
Shades of gray.
filling that space evenly so it becomes another element of the pattern.
So you can see I'm putting in the gray around all the dark rice shapes. And if you consider that you do the dark and then you do the light, you can actually reference it a little easier than had we not put those dark shades in. Ooh, now it's coming to
Right.
life, right?
So it's getting this increased texture. Finding all of those pieces and just, and again, using the turning the tile in a way that's comfortable And here, since it's a very specific, smaller space, Maria's holding the pencil at a little higher angle there.
Can you see the circles and the meta patterns all over the place? The circles are so cool.
Right?
Now, this is that brown chalk pencil that I think it's a Van Dyke brown.
Yes.
We're going to go in over those hatching marks that we did and just add some of that beautiful reddish brown. It's a lovely, lovely rich color.
Yeah, it's very close to the brown pen, depending on how you use it, but it really complements it. It just softens it up, and it's fun to do, just going back and touching those areas.
Now I'm going to go around all the circles that we put in and some of those cones.
So this is suggesting almost like a tufting, like it's pulling it in. And
Right.
And I like to have like a not that sharp a point sometimes on these chalk pencils.
So I'm coloring in every other one of these little, it's almost
Moldings?
Knightsbridge-y
Yeah.
kind of thing. Elongated Knightsbridge. I say that
Right.
10 times fast.
Close enough.
Elongated Knightsbridge. And you know what? It didn't come out even, so you can see how I just snuck that little
Right.
one in there.
Perfect.
I'm cheating. No worries. No mistakes.
So that initial graphite is just being smoothed like frosting on a cake now.
Right. Going in and softening that brown chalk pencil. These are all wonderful layers, and it's hard for maybe you to see the exactness on the screen, but it's so beautiful in person. Wait till you hold out your tile and look how beautiful it is. You're gonna feel like Leonardo yourself, right?
Right. Yeah, recalling all those beautiful images that we showed in the intro video.
Oh my God, aren't they? They're so
beautiful.
inspiring. They're breathtaking.
And, if you go online and search that word, what is it? Chiaroscuro,
Chiaroscuro.
and just look under images, and it'll be beautiful. So now two big things are happening. We've been adding dark to this paper, and now we're adding light, but you may notice that this is not the same one as the first one.
Right. A different tile.
Different tile. We had an oops in the, you're supposed to push the record button. I forgot that. And so
I
just,
stopped to answer the phone and
Right.
then never put a record. So I finished the whole first tile without this, so I had to do
Right.
it over again.
so we'll show you at the end, but so this is
A similar tile.
similar tile. So now we're adding light. We've added darker shades. Now we're going to the light side.
No mistakes, no mistakes.
Now we get to get.
Okay,
Get
so
serious
I'm
here.
working up my gold. And you twist your brush. You can see, I can't say that often enough. You twist it when you want it to go in one direction. So always twist your brush in one direction so that your tip stays nice and snappy. You want to, even when you clean your brush, the last thing you do is rub it, like twist it on a piece of paper so that your tip is going to dry beautiful like that.
So when you're loading the brush, you're twirling it. When you're painting, you're twirling it.
So here comes the gold, and I'm letting it. So by just putting it down and then tapping it and touching it ever so lightly, you're adding like a little bubble, which will dry more intense than just a brush stroke.
Right, so she's got a little dome of
Right.
gold there.
And again, it's hard to see on the film, but you'll see it on your piece itself. So I'm going in and adding gold to all the centers.
And those little cone shapes. Because when that tip is very precise as you want it to be.
And on this one, I thought I would do something a little different and get you to use your brush in a way that maybe you wouldn't think. We're just going to put a texture in the background of radiating stripes. And these are basically radiating from the center point of the tile. And if you keep that in mind, when you're moving the tile around, you want your brush stroke to be coming off the center.
So it's almost like radiating auras. So even that the gap between those brush strokes, so the brush strokes are pretty, reasonably similar, and the gap between them is reasonably similar.
So we're going to let these dry for a minute and then go back and do a little more shading.
It's really nice.
It's kind of glowing, you know?
It is.
So we're going to let it dry and go in and do some touch-ups. I think I have the black pen now. We're going to go and touch up around these cone shapes, because sometimes when you're painting, it's not as exact as you would like it. And so you go back in, add a little love.
I think you just like the excuse to go over those lines.
I do like
right?
that. It's like, this is the fun part. You go
Right.
over and add little details and
So always know that once the line is down, you can always revisit it and just re-emphasize it if maybe there's some chalk that got over it, or you just want that little bit more of contrast if the graphite has, dulled the vibrance sometimes. And you can also do that with the pencil. Now that really snaps that. Look at that, right?
mm-hmm.
All of a sudden the gold looks more gold.
Right. So we're going to, now that it's dry, we're going to go in with our graphite pencil and give this a little bit of an edge. And it also gives it a softer introduction to these stripes of gold.
And you see here Maria's holding the pencil, or was holding the pencil at a
well,
lower
it's
angle.
it's kind of, I probably should have sharpened it, but
This is looking really nice.
and then with our magic tortillon, we're going to just bring it out a little bit, soften it, and you can see this effect of like this pillow effect with these gold stripes that it softens the stripes somehow.
And the lightness that she's using on that tortillon,
Right.
very, very, very light touches, all you need.
And then I'm going to just go around the outer aura.
Right, so look at the difference that makes. That just
So
sets it up above there.
The aura I originally put down was brown, and I must have
Right.
decided that I think it needs more. So you can do things like that. Don't think that your hands are tied. We have very untied hands.
Right. And you could have gone in with the brown as well,
Right.
but look, it just lifts right up off there. Totally unhurried.
Pretty. Put in your chop.
And it really makes sense that it's like hiding underneath there.
Right.
And that little triangle resonates with all the other ones.
Yeah, the little cones. Good stuff.
Right,
This
still
was a
going
fun-
back and
Fun thing to do, and even if I had to do it over again, I did things a couple of different ways the second time.
well, I think we'll see them both, right?
Yeah, we're going to see them both.
Right, and just touching those up. Particularly, you can go over the white charcoal pretty easily. Nice. Very, very cool.
So we're going to show you some of the prototypes that I did before, and you can see different things. I put these lines in the spaces there that didn't end up in the final one, but you could do that. It's sort of a between look.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
very between.
So here was the original. Oh no, this isn't it. This is another one too. Before. And I had added those brown beads around the edges, and I opted not to put those
And then
in.
just a solid, that was on, looks like just a cut out a piece
Yeah,
of
just a
paper,
cutout
yeah.
piece scrap. So this was the original one that you had done. It's a little bit lighter weight, I think. Oops. It's never done.
Well, and you didn't do the radiating gold on that one.
Right. This one here just has a plain gold background, which you might want to try as well. But you can see the differences from the left to the right. The shapes of the rice shapes on the one on the right were bigger, so you have more of the brown showing up. Everybody's will look different, and even mine look different from each other. So that's a wonderful thought. It's a wonderful thought.
So we look forward to seeing what you create, and thank you so much for playing along with us. This is awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye now.